Hello, friends. Hare Krishna to everyone, and welcome to our weekly session of Thinking Thursday. Today, our very special guest, Shriman Vinod Sharma ji, will share with us how traditional Ayurveda can be incorporated in our lives in modern times. So, Ayurveda is a science of life, an ancient holistic system of medicine originating from India over 3,000 years ago, focusing on restoring balance between the body, mind, and spirit. So Ayurveda aims to maintain and preserve the good health of normal, healthy individuals, and at the same time, heal unhealthy individuals to promote well-being. And by now, Sharmaji needs no introduction, because all of you on Thinking Thursday platform know him by now. And I can see a lot of his followers here today. But for those of you who are here for the first time, I would like to tell you a little bit about Sharma. He's been practicing Ayurveda, homeopathy, and yoga and other healing modalities since last 30 years. He's traveled far and wide around the globe, helping people achieve and maintain good health. Sharmaji's clients come from all walks of life, from diverse backgrounds, from 8-month-old infants to 80 years old senior citizens. I myself was blown away by Sharmaji's skill of pulse taking and pulse reading. He could tell me so much about my personality just by checking pulse. Honestly, it was fascinating. And I have read many of Sharmaji's positive feedbacks. The one that we shared yesterday, I think, was it yesterday, Shankutalaji? It was shared in the group
Day
yesterday.
before, yeah.
Day before
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Very impressive testimonials from his satisfied clients. I mean, I've read so many testimonials in other groups as well. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Sharmaji to share with us his knowledge and wisdom healing with traditional Ayurveda in modern times. So over to you, Sharmaji. The floor is all yours.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Vashaji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your kind words and blessings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, yes, we'll discuss some things about Ayurveda today. Some of you, or most of you, may be knowing about it. So, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you first to know from you, if someone can speak, what is your understanding about the concept of Ayurveda? Most of you, I see that you're from Indian background. So if you don't mind, please come forward and share. What is your understanding about the whole concept of Ayurveda?
Ayur is, my name is Vaidehi.
Yes, thank you, Vaidiji.
Ayur means life, the longevity of life. Ayur, so to lengthen it, you go through some organic kind of natural as well as which is connected to the earth. Some kind of healing modality which is connected to the earth and to the body and to the Panchabhutas. To identify that and then take that course of action for any ailments, and to lengthen the ayur, or lead a healthy life. This is what my...
Okay, thank you.
हाँ जी, नमस्कार जी।
Thank you.
हाँ जी, नमस्कार जी। मैं ये इन शॉर्ट में ये कहना चाहती हूँ, एक ऐसा वेद जो हमारी आयु को मतलब नेचर के हिसाब से बढ़ाता है और हमें हेल्दी रखता है।
Okay, good. Yes, both of you, what you said is right. Anybody else would like to say something?
This is the healing
I can go. Sorry.
from India, which is origin from India.
Ah. Yes, it
Sir,
will.
I would like to share that Ayurveda, what I have understood as that it's an alternative system. It's not like the usual medicine system that we follow, the English medicine system. So we always call it alternative. And it's connected with the imbalances which are created by your different bodies.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know the name, the Vata, the Pitta,
Yeah.
and I don't know all the names. That's why I'm here today to really understand Ayurveda from you.
Okay, okay, good.
Cup and pith and
Kapha,
vats,
Pitta, yes.
vats three.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your sharing. So yes, you have some basic understanding about the concept, but not so much in detail. Shakuntala ji, can you put the meaning of the word, the term Ayurveda? Sorry, but I'm not handling this. I have the PowerPoint presentation slides, so I would need Shakuntala ji's help. The next one.
One minute.
So this is the basic meaning of Ayurveda, a science of life or knowledge of life. See, the title itself is very interesting. This is called science of life. This we don't call medical science as the conventional medical system. Someone said, it's an alternative method. Unfortunately, now it is considered as alternative methodology, but originally it was the mainstream. Thousands of years ago, it was the mainstream, mainly practiced in India. So, yeah, somehow, after some time, it was completely, in a way, it was banned during British rule. People were not allowed to practice Ayurveda. It was illegal. So because of that, that knowledge was a bit subdued, became a bit dormant. Could not be completely destroyed, but it became dormant. And now it is reviving because general people, they are showing more and more interest. So now many countries, they have accepted Ayurveda as an authentic alternative medical science. So medicines are used in Ayurveda, but in a very limited way, only to help the person to recover from the ailment, or if anybody has incurred any kind of physical or emotional, mental loss due to sickness. So to compensate that loss, once the recovery takes place, there is no need as such, according to Ayurveda, to continue taking medicines. To be honest, there is no concept of tonic or health supplement. Tonics are there, but not as health supplement in Ayurveda. Ayurveda emphasizes mostly on our diet and lifestyle. So if these things are taken care of, then a person doesn't necessarily need any medicine to be healthy. So I will go a little bit in detail about these terms, science and life. According to Ayurvedic philosophy, we say that any subject matter which can discuss logically and arrive at a logical conclusion, that subject matter can be treated as science. And life, Ayur means life, which comes from the word Ayush. So life also has a very interesting explanation given in Ayurveda. Life does not necessarily mean just living. Breathing, person is breathing, organs in the body are working. So mere these kind of functions does not necessarily mean life according to Ayurveda. Sometimes they say life is a journey, life is an experience, like that. A long time ago, I was conducting a seminar here in Hong Kong. So when I asked this question, well, how can you define life? So one lady, she said, life is a journey. And life is a journey from hospital to hospital via home. So what she said, logically, it makes sense. But Ayurveda does not define life in that negative connotation. According to Ayurveda, there are some different definitions given, but main definition, which is very appropriate, it says that there are 6 components involved. When these 6 components, they work in a cooperative manner, in a harmonious way, in the balanced form. So as long as these 6 components, they work together, that duration of time, that span of time is called life. Now, what are the 6 components? First one is our soul, our spirit soul. Now, without soul, everybody knows that, that there is no life, right? Then the other 5 are our ego, which helps us to identify ourselves, who we are. Then second one is our intellect, intelligence, which helps us to differentiate between good and bad and make decisions according to that. And then is our mind. Then our senses of perception and senses of action. So first one is soul, then our ego, then intelligence, then mind, then senses of perception and senses of action. So without soul, there is no life. So rest of the 5 components, they should work together in a cooperative manner. And for the duration of time for which they work together in a harmonious way, that duration of time, that span of time is called life. Now, sometimes, we see that somebody has any sickness or any weakness. So due to that weakness, the person cannot move his body, his limbs. So such a person needs some help from the family members at home or nurses in the hospital, or sometimes at intellectual level, if somebody is not able to relate to the family members, relatives, friends, and cannot interact with them. So in spite of having these kind of shortcomings, from the modern science perspective, if that person is checked by a doctor, any modern doctor, mainstream doctor, so the doctor will check whether the heart is functioning or not, lungs are working or not, other organs in the body, they are fine or not. So when those things are fine, the doctor will declare, will give the certificate that person is alive. But from Ayurvedic perspective, strictly speaking, if anything is missing at the physical level or at the subtle level, then the person's life becomes incomplete. So when someone's life is incomplete, then in true sense, it is not life. Ayurveda says life it has to be complete from all aspects. When our life is complete, we can contribute something to the society. We can become an asset for the society. When our life becomes incomplete, then we become burden on the society. So that's an main objective of Ayurveda, to help people to make their life complete. Not only make it complete, but maintain that completeness. That's very important. Then only in true sense, we can say, we have life. So from this, you can understand how deep Ayurveda is. Shakuntalaji, next slide, please. So with regard to health also, only absence of disease cannot make us healthy. According to Ayurveda, the health is to be checked from different aspects. From all these different aspects, different levels, different layers, there should be some balance. When we have balance at all aspects, all levels, then we can say that, we are healthy. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Later, if we have some more sessions later on, then we can go into more detail about this definition. So for today's session, because this is just an introductory session, so I will just stick to this simplified definition of health. Shakuntalaji, next slide, please. So now this whole science is based on functioning of the 5 elements. Somebody said, I think Vaidehi said, the 5 Panchamahabhutas, we call them the 5 great universal elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Now, since our body is a part and parcel of the universe. Our body is just like a miniature of the universe. What we see without, those things are within our body as well, but in a very minute, very limited quantity. So space element within our body, very briefly, I will touch these points. It is said that wherever there is any empty gap, any cavity in our body, that is a space element. We have so much space in the skull, in the throat, in the chest, in the stomach, between two organs, between two bones, between two arteries, between two cells. Even within cells also, we have so much space. Because there is some space within cells, so the energy can flow. The cells can survive. So that is at the physical level. And at the mental level also, Mother Nature has provided so much space for us to store some information. It is said that the capacity of the human mind with regard to storing information is much more than the capacity of any computer's hard disk. But unfortunately, we don't use it. Nowadays, because of the advancement of the technology, the devices we have, we take full advantage of these devices. So yes, they can make our life very comfortable, but when we become too dependent on them, then we have
ये अपने
to
5 तत्व का बता रहे हैं कैसे काम करता है।
hello. So when we become too dependent on these devices, then it has some adverse effects on our health. Like for example, when we come across people, they don't even remember their spouse's number. They have to check their mobile phone. So much dependency on these devices. So we don't exercise our brain much. So because the brain is not exercised, it becomes rusty, it becomes very dull. And then the memory part is affected. That's why memory related problems are increasing in the world. Dementia, Alzheimer's, these kind of problems are increasing in the world. So we need to exercise our brain on regular basis so that it remains very active. It can function well in our advanced age as well. Now here, very interesting point I want to share with you. In our ancient science, though we call it ancient, but it's a very timeless science. It's very, actually, in a way, it is more beneficial in our modern times than it was, in a way, before. I'll come to that point later. So the connection between our ancient science and the modern language. When we see somebody looks a bit lost, cannot recollect some information, so we say that person is spaced out, right? We don't say the person is air out or fire out. That means the space element is not properly utilized by the person, so a person becomes spaced out. See the connection between our ancient science and the modern language. Then the air element. Air element is the link between our physical body and the brain, the mind. When we touch someone or someone touches us or we touch any object, so through the sense of touch, the message goes to the brain. And what kind of response should be given? That message is sent from the brain to the body. So the carrier of message, to and fro carrier of the message, is the air element. The whole activity is so spontaneous, so fast, so quick, we don't realize it. So air element is responsible for sending message to the brain and bringing message from the brain to the body. And according to Ayurveda, there are 10 different types of air in our body. Again, here, I won't go into detail since this first introductory session. Later on, if we continue these kind of sessions, then we can go into more detail. So that's the air element. Then the fire element, mainly the digestive fire in the stomach, which helps us to digest food. Fire transforms the food items into energy. So this is called transforming element. Air element is called transporting element. Any movement which happens within our body, even outside also, the movements are caused by air. And fire element is called transforming element. The production of red blood cells in the body are caused by the fire element. Our vision also is controlled by the fire element. So that's at the physical level. At the subtle level, our positive attitude, ability to motivate other people, leadership qualities, supervising abilities. Even anger also is caused by the fire element, right? Then the water element, any liquid, any fluid in our body, that is water element. Plasma, saliva, blood, urine, tears, sweat, that is water element. That's at the physical level. Then at the subtle level, our emotions are controlled by the water element. Some of you may be knowing, you may be associated with the energy work and all that, energy healing. So you might be knowing that some people who are emotionally overly sensitive, they become easily affected on the full moon nights because moon has direct connection with the water. The water level in the sea rises on the full moon nights because moon attracts the water. And our body also, about 70% within our body is a water element, right? So when that water element within the body is agitated by the strong influence of the moon on the full moon night, some people cannot handle it. Some people, they feel very depressed. Some people feel very low, right? And some people even go crazy. Has anyone heard that or read about it or know about it?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
it is
Yes, sir.
taught in
Yes, sir.
astrology also many times that full moon is the time when you are highly excited,
Yes,
and
correct.
new moon is the time when you feel absolutely low. So that is
Yes,
definitely because moon is mind in astrology. So,
yes,
right.
Is
correct.
that why, yeah, Sharma ji, is that why they say lunatic?
Correct. I was coming to that point. In English, crazy people, mad people, they are called lunatic. They are not called lunatic. Lunatic or loony, right? Because the lunar influence they could not handle, they become lunatic. See again the connection between our ancient science and the modern language. Then the earth element. At the physical level, earth element gives relatively more durable structure to our body. Strong muscles and bones. That's the earth element. And at the subtle level, patience, tolerance, forgiveness, calmness, grounded feeling, good quality sleep, strong memory. These things are influenced by the earth element. Right? So I just shared with you a basic information about these elements, how these elements control our system, the functioning of the whole system. Our guru, when he was teaching us at the initial stage, when he taught us about these elements in very detail, I'm just touching the surface of these explanation given in Ayurveda about these elements. So he said, when somebody has this basic information about Ayurveda, how these elements control our life, influence our life, having that knowledge, that person will never become arrogant because he will know he's not the controller. He's controlled by these elements. Elements are the one who are controlling us. Even somebody has leadership quality. So leadership quality is influenced by the fire element. So as long as the fire element is strong, the person will have ability to rule, ability to lead, ability to supervise, right? And when that fire element becomes weaker, it becomes depleted, then that ability diminishes. And it goes away. So we should not become arrogant at all. Whatever we are having, whatever skills we are having, abilities we have, everything is provided by Mother Nature. So we should be grateful to Mother Nature that whatever we have and whatever skill the nature has provided, the Mother has given us, Mother Nature has given us, we should use it in the service of the society. Am I making sense here?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Any question here?
Yes, I have one issue, health issue. It's not about emotions, but the physical health. On full moon and Amavasya, invariably I have severe headache and lethargy and sluggishness.
Hmm.
So somebody was saying you're not able to absorb the energy or there is a overload of energy, something like that somebody was saying.
Hmm. Yeah, see, one I do not know the details about you, but one of the reasons maybe because see what happens. As I said, the influence of the moon is very strong on our system, right? This is the reason in our Indian culture, Vedic culture, the provision is made on the full moon day one should fast. Have you heard that? Fasting is recommended on the full moon day.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
why? Why one should fast on the full moon day? What happens? What kind of benefit we can have if we fast on the full moon day?
बैलेंस द बॉडी
ताकि जो उनकी पूर्णिमा की एनर्जी है उसको एब्जॉर्ब कर सकें.
Yeah, it's a full moon day. See what happens. As the water element becomes more agitated on the full moon day due to the influence, strong influence of the full moon. So if we don't eat, then the digestive fire is conserved, right? We are not utilizing, we are not using the fire element to digest food. So when the fire element remains stronger, it can help us to combat or face the strong influence of the agitation of the water element because of the moon. So when the fire element is strong, then we can maintain our good health. Our health will not be affected. Our mood will not be affected. Our emotions will not be affected. Our mind will not be affected by the agitation of the water element caused by the strong influence of the moon. So one of the options, what you told me earlier, Subi, right? Your name? You said that you have some issues on the full moon day, Amavasya day. So if you try to fast on that day, then that can be very helpful. Now, this also one has to remember because fasting, according to Ayurveda, is one of the best cures for many diseases. But it has to be done in a very logical, very rational way, not in a very whimsical way. So one has to prepare the body for fasting. Supposing tomorrow is the full moon day. So one day before in the evening, one should stop eating solid food. One can have some hot milk if milk is suitable to the system. So one should have hot milk before going to bed, on one day before the full moon day. Then next day, the person can fast. So fasting also generally on full moon day in Ayurveda, in our scriptures also, it is recommended. It's not for the whole 24 hours. Just fast till the sunset time. And after sunset, one can break the fast. One can eat very light meal. So if this kind of things, the methods can be applied, then the health can be maintained quite well. This is just one of the solutions I'm giving you. As I said, I do not know the details, but this you can try to use it. Then it can be helpful. Yeah. Any other question?
Vinodji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when when you say that the fasting, if we can eat after the sunset, and usually our understanding and also me being Jain, we usually ask that not to eat after sunset because our body goes as per the cycle of the sun, and after the sun energy is gone, if you are not having food, it is good for your body. So how does that go with this explanation?
Yeah. See, now when we talk about these kind of practices in certain faiths, certain communities, one we need to understand, what is the reason behind it. You told me the reason because the sun has the effect on our digestive fire, and when the sun sets, the digestive fire becomes weaker. That's very true. Now we need to see our lifestyle also. Here, I want to take advantage of giving you some information. See, Ayurveda is a very practical science, right? Here in Ayurveda, we do not use same kind of policies, same kind of principles, same kind of yardstick for everybody. We see individually what is appropriate for the individual, right? Now, working class people like us, supposing now we are having this session here in Hong Kong is now almost, what time is now? 10 o'clock, right? We are having this session, right? So sun sets here around this season, around 5:40, 6 o'clock, around that time, right? So supposing 6 o'clock, now 6 to 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 hours have passed. I'm still alive. And many people I've joined in Hong Kong, they're still alive. I mean, they're still awake, right? So after 4 hours of setting of the sun, they're still awake. They are engaged in different activities, right? So when we are engaged in our activities, our body uses the energy. So certain quantum of the energy is being used up, right? So we need to produce that energy. If we don't eat and only keeps on using the energy, then it can have depleting effect on us. One of the reasons traditionally people used to stop eating after sunset because of the darkness. They would not know if something, some insects or some germs or something, they attack the food and they won't know when they are eating food. So one of the reasons was that was the practical reason that after sunset they would not eat. Right? Now here, since we are talking about it, many of you might have heard, traditionally, you might have heard from elders in the family that after sunset, you should not cut your nails. You should not clip your nails. Have you heard that?
Yes.
What could be the
Yes.
reason?
Yes.
What could be the reason?
We were not told that reason.
Probably
Not
again,
enough light.
there was
The
no electricity.
blood
So
flow
they
will
can cut.
happen if suppose they hurt the nail. I mean, they overpluck it or something. Blood flow will not stop or something.
Now see, what I've
There
heard,
was no
many times.
light.
Many
There
times
was
this
no
say,
light.
It's only about taking precautions because there is a possibility of accident.
accident of cutting your finger.
Yeah, I mean, you might, instead of cutting your nail, you might end up cutting your finger also.
Yeah, so that also again, the reason becomes like, because of the darkness, right? So
Lack
now,
of light.
yeah, because of the darkness, correct? The lack of light. So now we have electricity, but after having the electricity also, still we hear that, we should not cut our nails after sunset. There is a logical, scientific reason behind it. Our nails and hair.
विनोद जी आप म्यूट पे चले गए.
Please unmute yourself, Vinod ji.
Mute हो गया.
Yeah. So when we clip our nails and the hair which fall off, they are the food for the spirits, ghosts. And the spirits, they become very active after sunset. So when we are doing that, then they can follow us, to get some food. So for that reason, the nail should not be clipped, and hair also should not be cut after sunset. So that's very philosophical reason given in Ayurveda also. So coming back to this point, not eating food after sunset, that can be very good, provided the person takes rest quite soon after sunset. One should not go around also. Generally, it is said, people, they roam around after sunset. In our Vedic culture, they are called Nishachar. Nisha means night. Char means, people, they are active after sunset. So if we are engaged in our activities, whether commercial activities or social functions or something like that, even spiritual activities, so we need to have that energy in our body so that our body doesn't feel depleted. We need to be practical in our life. What things were followed centuries ago, due to the situations at that time, we cannot expect the current generation to follow the same way, because the things have changed a lot, the situations changed a lot. And if we still want to follow the same way what people were following centuries ago, that they would not eat after sunset, if we want to follow that, then we need to have the lifestyle also according to that lifestyle. What people used to have centuries ago. After sunset, there was no electricity, they would go to bed. They would not go around doing activities. So if we are able to do that, then yes, by all means, you can stop eating after sunset. But my humble request is, to be practical in life. If you are engaged in the activities after sunset and you have the facilities that after sunset also you can continue having your activities because of the electricity power is available, then you have to take care of your body as well. Uh, Ayurveda is against, having this kind of idea of becoming a bit too rigid, too strict, following the principles. If we want to follow the principles, then we need to see these principles in what context they are recommended. They're advised to follow. If the situation is matching, then we can do by all means. But if the situation is not the same, as I said, centuries ago after sunset, people will just go to bed. They would not be roaming around. They would not be using the physical energy. So there was no need for them to eat also. Correct? So in modern times, we have to see what practically we are supposed to do to take care of our health. As I said, fasting is very important, but fasting does not necessarily mean starving. Abstinence from food is not fasting. Fasting has to be very logical. Our body needs to be prepared for fasting so that we can get maximum benefits of fasting. If we stop eating all of a sudden, we don't take care of the digestive fire and we don't supply the food to the digestive fire, that digestive fire will start burning the healthy tissues in the body. So starving has depleting effect and fasting has detoxifying effect. So does it answer your question? Does it answer your point, what you said?
Yes, yes, it does part. So what I understand is that we have to go by the flow of the life of a person. But I
Yes.
guess so far this sun energy is concerned, if it can be maintained best, but then if it is not possible, it is okay, is what I
Yes.
understand, right?
Later, as I said, if we go into details, if we are able to continue these kind of sessions, so we can discuss more about this, because uh, one question generally asked in my seminars, when is the good time to eat? Can anyone answer? When is the good time to eat?
When you are hungry.
That's the best answer. Yes, correct. But according to the universal clock, there are specific timings given that when one should eat, when one should drink, when one should go to bed, when one should get up in the morning. Uh, so these kind of timings are also given in Ayurveda. General guidelines are given to kind of regulate our activities according to the universal clock. When our individual activities they match the universal clock, we can be quite healthy. So when we come to that point later at that stage, when we discuss, then I will tell you in more detail about the sunset, the effect of the sunset, after sunset, what happens and all that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other point?
May I ask a question, sir?
Yes, please.
I want to understand if you want to prepare yourself to say starting to fast and you do not have a prior experience of fasting per se, kabhi kabhi kiya one off. So if let's say Ekadashi, there are two Ekadashis in a month, and it is recommended to fast on those 2 days as well. And when you say prepare your body, you can't just go jump into a fasting scenario and don't know what to do and don't eat at all. How should you approach if you want to begin?
Yeah, as I said, that spiritual practice also, it has to be done in the scientific way, right? So for Ekadashi also same rule applies. One day before Ekadashi, that means on the Dashami Tithi in the evening, one should not eat heavy meal. See, the reason is, if we eat heavy meal evening before the fasting day, the food grains remain in the stomach, right? So whatever food remains in the stomach region, that will create the craving for eating more. Then the fasting is not so good, then the person will keep on thinking about eating. So that kind of fasting, in true sense, it is said, is torturing yourself. We need to control our mind, not suppress our mind. We need to regulate our desires, not suppress our desires. So the spiritual practice also, if we do in a scientific way, then we gain in both ways. Our health is maintained, and whatever reward we are supposed to get by doing the spiritual practice, we will get.
Right. I wanted to also understand what can you start avoiding? Uh, when you speak about fasting, then what should you begin to eliminate from your diet? You're saying no, that we should not just go not eat at all. Should we start slowly and then maybe have fruits and what is it? What is the recommendation as per Ayurveda is what I wanted to understand.
So fasting also, there are different levels of fasting.
Ji.
Some people they do complete fast. That means they don't drink even water. Some people fast on water. Some people have water and milk. And some people have water, milk, and fruits. And some people have water, milk, fruits, and vegetables. And some people also have water, milk, fruits, vegetables, and roots or non-grain food items. They avoid eating grains because grain take up so much of energy, so much of digestive fire. So the purpose of fasting is to conserve our digestive fire so that that fire can burn the toxins in our body. That's the objective of fasting, to detoxify our body, to burn the toxins in the body. And unfortunately, what happens, I'm not saying that everybody does that, but generally that's a concept. People, because they don't prepare their body, they don't prepare their mind before fasting, then on the fasting day, they have cravings for eating. And they say, oh, we are not supposed to eat grains. Supposing somebody's fasting from the grains. Oh, we are not supposed to eat grains. Then they end up eating non-grains items much more than other days. So that doesn't serve the purpose of fasting. Right? That means they are burdening their digestive fire with the food. Though they are not eating grains, but they are eating other items, more quantity. So the digestive fire is overburdened. So it doesn't help to burn the toxins in the body. So when we do in a proper, appropriate manner, in the scientific manner, then we can gain. Health-wise also we can gain, and spiritually also we benefit. Does it make sense?
Thank you, sir. Makes sense. So you can actually start with whatever works for your body, fruit, milk, water milk. So that combination. I think it's going to be hit and try. Like you said, not everybody will be the same. So you can't be prescribed thing that this is what you should do as a starter.
If you're doing on your own, then just you have to try yourself and see
Got it.
how your body reacts. But if
Right.
you have somebody, if you are fortunate enough to have some proper guidance, then that person can guide you that what kind of fast is suitable for you.
Right. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Welcome. Should we proceed now? Shakuntala ji, next slide, please.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Recently, I heard you were talking about moon and water element goes together, right?
Yeah.
So somebody was suggesting that we normally, when we go to bed, we keep a glass of water or flask of water beside our head side, our bedside. So they were saying not to keep the water near your head side.
What was the
Because
reason?
it's a moon element and it causes depression, they were saying.
Yeah, it may be applicable to some people, not to everyone. And
Okay.
generally it is, the water element, whenever you keep, of course, you have to keep it covered, correct?
Yeah, it is covered.
Yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be covered. And now if you want to go into details, if you keep the water element in the east direction,
East direction.
yes, then it's much better. And that also, if you use a glass, not any
Yeah.
other metal. Metal, if you want to use, just use the silver, not even copper,
Yeah.
just silver metal, silver cup,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
glass cup. So that is
Okay.
safer. That is safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I was also told that if you keep a glass of water near your bedside, and then you should not drink that water in the morning, you should give it to the plants or something.
Again, as I said, if the water is covered, you can drink. There is no harm drinking water from that. Don't keep
Okay.
uncovered. If you keep
Okay.
uncovered, because negative energy becomes stronger after sunset. So that will affect the energy of the water. So that water one should not drink if it is uncovered. But if you keep it covered, then by all means you can drink it.
Okay. Silver glass is fine, right? You said.
Silver cup or the glass cup is fine.
Glass is fine. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
In continuation to this question, what happens with the copper? Like usually these days we are kind of all fascinated by copper use, using copper for the storage of water and also.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Yeah, so I was asking that what about the copper? Like when we put water in the copper vessel or a copper jug,
Yeah.
it's not good, you say?
Yeah. So see, that person specifically mentioned about keeping the water near your head. So if you want to keep the water in the copper container, that you can keep, but don't keep it near your head. You can keep somewhere else, and then next morning you can drink from that. There is no problem with that.
And if I may ask, like, why not near the head, like inside, like what the science says?
Yeah. But I think this at this point of time, it's not a good idea to go into detail because I want to familiarize with other participants also. Because if we go into too much detail about, if I start speaking from Garud Purana, so some people may feel a bit disturbed. So I think it is not appropriate to go into that part into detail. But definitely later on, when we continue more and more sessions, and the participants also become more comfortable hearing about this, the subtle aspect of this Ayurvedic science, then I think it will be the right time to discuss in more detail.
Respectful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry about that now.
Not at all. You put the seed for the next session actually. Thank you.
Now coming back to this, continuing the discussion. So those 5 elements are combined in different proportions, and we put them into 3 categories: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So Vata is the combination. You can go to the next slide, Shakuntalaji. Vata is the combination of space and air element. Air is the predominant element in that combination. So that's called Vata. Then the Pitta, next one. Pitta is combination of fire, air, and water. Fire is the main component in that combination. If you have read the books on Ayurveda, if you read books on Ayurveda, or you go on internet reading articles on the different websites, most of these books and the websites, they will say that Pitta is combination of fire and water. But our Guru taught us air also is the main component, a significant component in Pitta, because we cannot imagine fire without oxygen, right? Air is the one which generates fire. So air is also a very significant component in Pitta. So Pitta is combination of fire, water, and air. And fire is the main component in that. Then the third one is called Kapha, which is combination of water and earth. Water is the primary component in that combination. So these are the 3 humors, we call them, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. According to Ayurveda, generally they are called as 3 dosha. Dosha means drawbacks, weaknesses, shortcomings, faults, right? So these are called 3 doshas. But in the original Ayurvedic text, these are treated as the 3 main pillars which sustain our body structure and maintain our health. I want to ask a question. If they are the faults, if they are the drawbacks, weaknesses, how can the weaknesses be the pillars which sustain our body structure and maintain our health? How can it be possible?
If
Anyone?
they are not balanced in the body,
Come again.
they become doshas.
If they are
If
not
they're not
balanced.
balanced in your body, then it's a dosh.
Okay. And how do you define balance?
If one or the 2 elements are too stronger than you required, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. See, many times people they think balance means all three should be in the equal proportion. Nobody on the Earth planet will have all these three doshas in the equal proportion. Nobody. One will always be stronger than the other two. So the two subordinate doshas, they should support the predominant one. They should work in harmony. So when they are working in harmony, in proper coordination, in a cooperative manner, then we call them they are in the balanced proportion. So one always will be stronger than the other two, and the predominant one. Next slide, please, Shakuntala ji. The predominant one decides our basic constitution. And this constitution we get from our parents at the time of conception, not at the time of birth. So because of this, to have a healthy baby, very wonderful, simple guidelines are given in Ayurveda for couples to follow, at least for 6 weeks. So when they follow those guidelines, those guidelines can help them to establish balance within their systems. And then when they have physical union, husband and wife, they have physical union, then the forthcoming child can be quite balanced. So this basic constitution, what we get from our parents, we need to live. We have to live with that constitution throughout our life. Our basic constitution doesn't change. What keeps on changing in Ayurveda, we call it Vikruti. The basic constitution is called Prakruti, and what keeps on changing is called Vikruti. So Vikruti keeps on changing, but the constitution, Prakruti, doesn't change. Yeah. So the couples there who want to start a family, they have to be very mindful about it. It's a big responsibility to have a child. Our guru used to say, by examples, used to teach us how Ayurvedic guidance can be applied, and our life, we can live our life with full responsibility. That's the objective of human life. We have to live our life with full responsibility and with full mindfulness. So he gave us examples. Supposing when we go to any shop to buy some utensils, supposing we are buying a cooking pot for cooking some food at home. So many times we knock on the pot, from different directions to see how strong the pot is. Now that pot can be useful for us maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, even 25 years, right? So we are so careful because we are spending money. We are so careful what kind of quality of the pot we are buying. And when it comes to having a child, we become so careless. The child, that living being, can be with us the rest of our life. So we are not so careful, we are not so cautious, we are not so mindful that what kind of living being we are inviting in our family. The person who is going to be the part of our family for the rest of our life. So it is a very big responsibility to be a parent. So Ayurvedic guidelines can help us, to create balance within our system. Husband and wife, and then the forthcoming child can be quite balanced, quite healthy, right? So this is with regard to the conception. The Prakriti, basic constitution. Next slide, please.
This
Shakuntala ji.
should be taught in the college, I guess.
Yes, very good point you raised.
True.
Before in the Gurukul system, these things were taught. That's why there was so much of harmony in the society. But unfortunately, when the invaders came, they destroyed our whole Gurukul system. And now, unfortunately, the current generation, even our generation also, that because we don't have so much of knowledge and we have been brainwashed by the modern education, so we are the one who demean our own Vedic culture, our very rich heritage. We don't take advantage. Not only we don't take advantage of that, but we criticize it. We think that, these are very superstitious things, very primitive things, very old, obsolete things cannot be applied in the modern life. Later on, I will tell you that the significance of Ayurveda in our modern life, how important it is in our modern life. So this is, we were talking about the basic constitution, and I said, what keeps on changing is Vikruti. So Vikruti keeps on changing depending on our eating habits and lifestyle, depending on the permutation and combination of the doshas. So far, everything is clear?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Hmm.
Sir, when you were talking about Pitta dosha, once you went really fast, so you were explaining that on the internet it says that Pitta dosha contains fire, air, and water, but your teacher taught you that it also, on the air is not mentioned. Your teacher told you that it also has air. So whatever you explained after that, you went really fast and I couldn't catch up. Like after that, the lines you said after that, you said something about oxygen. I couldn't grasp it. It was really fast.
I said we cannot imagine fire without oxygen, right? Oxygen is required for the fire. The fire, we have the forest fire. What is the season we have forest fire?
I don't know.
It's
In the
windy, I
dry
think.
in the dry season, when the
In the dry
weather
season.
the air becomes very dry,
Right.
the vata dosha becomes very strong, so that causes the friction, dryness, and because of the dryness, the fire is generated because of the friction caused by the dry air. So air is the one responsible for generating the fire, and from fire the moisture is generated, the water element is generated, and when the water element becomes harder, solid, then that gives rise to the earth element. Is that clear?
It's very deep. I think I will go into this with like
Can you
more
explain that
details.
again, please?
Yeah, it's very deep, very deep.
Yeah, as I said, in the beginning, that Ayurveda is very wide and very deep science. So much of knowledge is there, so much of knowledge. And whatever the information, I'm sharing with you, it's just, what we say, tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's quite deep. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, because for you, you're explaining it with so much ease, but for us to grasp, like what, like a child learning something really new. So it's a little hard.
Initially, because see, many things, what we are discussing may be new for you. So yes, initially, that's why certain things, as I said, certain things I will not go into detail. Otherwise, it can be very overwhelming.
So you
So
said water becomes hard and becomes earth.
yes, the solid earth element. This is the the creation time about what is mentioned in Ayurveda, how these Pancha Mahabhutas, they were created one after the other.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was planning to go into little bit of more detail also about the qualities of these Pancha Mahabhutas for these 5 elements, how this we can see that how they are linked together, and how these qualities, so certain qualities, they increase subsequently when we go from one element to other. So again, I would say that I will not go in that detail now, otherwise it can be overwhelming for some of you. I want you to understand the basic concept first, digest it, and then we'll be more equipped, more ready to go at the deeper level. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, it's very important that
Yeah.
our Ayurveda we don't know from
It is so
childhood. Now we are learning the
Yes.
real, yeah. We have to study a lot
I'm
from
also
June.
learning. I'm also learning.
Yeah,
I've been learning for so many years because the
yeah,
subject is so wide, so
so
vast.
wide. Yeah,
One lifetime is not enough to study everything.
yeah.
it's so close to nature. If you understand nature, I think that's what it is. We are nature at the end of the day. So everything is
Yes.
so correlated,
Yes. Yes.
coexisting.
Yeah, somewhere I think it's also important to have a sleepover, and like you said, sir, too much in your plate will be overwhelming for you. So Exactly. You have to create a balance also in learning. So
Yes.
that really
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. A good sleepover we'll be able to internalize what we have
Yes.
learned in this session with you today.
Yes.
So
Now
thank
see,
you.
see what you said, no sleepover. Normally, if we take the literal meaning of sleeping or something, how can we learn something when we are asleep? But the reason is given in Ayurveda, our subconscious mind controls our functioning of the body much more than the conscious mind, proportionately. So when at conscious level we are asleep, the subconscious mind is very active. I'm not sure whether you heard about it, but at least in our college days, when we were learning, some subjects were very difficult for us to grasp. So the professors used to tell us in those days, we used to have the audio cassettes. Nowadays, audio cassettes are not visible. Some of them, the younger generation children, they may not know what is audio cassette. So he used to say, that you record the lectures in that audio cassette. When you go to bed, you play the audio cassette. So though at conscious level you are asleep, but your subconscious mind will understand what the lecture is about. And then next day when you attend that lecture, you will understand that lecture, the subject quite fast. And practically we tried that and it worked very well. So see these kind of sayings, sleeping over something or something, then these are not only the, but there is a deep reason behind it, that how these things work. Right? Shall we proceed? So these are the three main pillars: Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And somebody very rightly said they have to be in the balanced proportion. Balanced proportion means, the subsequent two, subordinate two, should support the predominant one, should not clash with each other. So when they support each other, then they are called as they are in the balanced proportion. But it is not so easy to maintain the balance among these three for a very long time. In Ayurveda, it is said, at any given time, at least one of them will be out of balance. Now, if we say that at any given time, at least one of them is out of balance, and imbalance causes sickness, illness, ill health. So from that perspective, we should always be sick. Right or not?
Don't have to be.
Sorry?
We don't have to be sick.
We don't have to be. But, if we see this, the statements given in Ayurveda, they say that at any given time, at least one of them will be out of balance.
Because we are doing something over to cause the imbalance.
We are doing something what? Sorry?
We are doing something more than required to cause the balance.
To cause the balance.
No, imbalance, sorry. Cause the imbalance.
Yeah, to a certain extent, what you said is right. See, the answer is given in Ayurveda. If our immune system is strong enough, it can help us to resist the consequences of the imbalance.
Yes.
We can tolerate that, whether the imbalance is within our body or imbalance outside.
Yes.
Some people whose immune system is not strong enough, little weather change, climatic conditions, when they change, they fall sick.
Yeah.
They cannot tolerate that because their system is so fragile. And nowadays, instead of educating people how they can take care of their system, strengthen their immune system, more emphasis is put to take the vaccines. Right? Here in Hong Kong, it's a practice, during autumn season, during spring season, people, they go to take vaccines for preventing flu, influenza. They get hay fever or something like that, or they get sinus related problems during the transition period, particularly during autumn and spring season. So instead of, depending on the vaccines, if we adopt the Ayurvedic guidelines, implement them in our life, then we can make our system stronger, then it can face whatever climatic changes are happening. Then we won't fall sick. So immune system is very, very important in Ayurveda. So much emphasis is put on strengthening the immune system. When our immune system is strong, it can tolerate the imbalance if it is happening within our body or outside. Correct?
Yeah.
So next slide, please. Now coming to this point now. Now here, from here, we will discuss, whatever we discuss, it will help you to understand the significance of implementing Ayurvedic principles, the traditional science of Ayurveda in our modern life. Many times it has happened, in my seminar, people, they ask some questions I would like to share with you. Common question is, this is a very ancient science. Some people even say obsolete. Even Indians also, they say it is very obsolete science, not practical in our modern life. How can it be helpful? In modern life, we should take advantage of the modern science. But as I said, the need for applying Ayurvedic principles in our current situation is much more than it was before. Before, when there was no electricity after sunset, people would just retire. They would just go to bed. They would unwind their system and then go to bed. No activities. And before sunrise, they would get up. So their days, they will start with sunrise and it will end with sunset. So their activities were quite in sync with the universal clock. That's why they were very healthy. But nowadays, we have so many facilities. Electricity, for example, we are not actually utilizing them, we are misusing them. When we are supposed to take rest very late night, some people, they keep on working quite late, after midnight also they keep on working. So that's not right. Sometimes if you need to do, you can do it. Yeah, as I said, Ayurveda is very practical science. The objective of Ayurveda is not to cut ourselves off from the social life. We have to adjust in our society. We have to fit in our society. So there are guidelines given also in case sometimes we need to stay awake late at night. So what should be done? And sometimes even we don't get enough sleep at night, and next day we have some important task to finish. What should be done so that we can do it without being very frustrated, irritated, or something like that? So those guidelines also given. So when we discuss later, then you will understand that how wonderful, how beautiful Ayurveda is, how complete it is. It takes care of everything. So coming back to this point, that in our modern life, we break nature's law very often. So when we break nature's law, then we have to pay penalty in the form of suffering. Our health deteriorates. So for that reason, the need for applying Ayurvedic principles in our modern life is much more than it was before. It is timeless science. It is ancient, but timeless science. So when we keep on discussing further, then you will understand more and more that how important it is to apply Ayurveda in our modern life. So many challenges we have in our modern life. Like recently we experienced the pandemic, COVID, right? People were feeling so much misery, they were going through so much of misery. They're feeling so miserable, frustrated, angry. So many things were happening. And now, you might have heard the WHO has actually announced that next pandemic is going to be mental health. Mental challenges is going to be next pandemic. Has anyone heard that?
First time.
Yes, I've heard about it.
Yeah, because see, we call human beings are social animals, right? What does it mean by social animals?
When you interact with each other.
Yes. And what happened during COVID time?
Isolation.
So that was a big torture, right?
Right.
At emotional level, mental level, intellectual level, it was such a big torture.
Yeah.
So, though, people, we came out of this and all that, but the whatever experiences people had at emotional level, mental level, they have left the images, the effects at a deeper level in our system. And when they will manifest in future, we don't know. So when they manifest at that time, it can be a very difficult situation to face.
Yeah.
So we need to prepare. In that regard also, Ayurveda can help us to prepare ourselves so that, whenever, God forbids, if, we need to face that kind of difficult situation, we are able to handle that. Instead of feeling very depressed, feeling very low, and then, then some people, they do something nonsense, which can be very harmful to their health, to their life.
Sir,
So
it was quite bad for India, especially because India never faced that kind of a pandemic. But I think so for Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, they faced SARS. So they were already prepared and they fought it out very well. I was also in Hong Kong at that time. So during the COVID times, so I remember how the government was so helpful and it was the friends were reachable. They took all kind of precautions and we were motivating each other with bhajans and songs and spirituality and all those things.
yeah, you can say that, of course, there are different reasons also, why it was more problematic for people in India. Because to be honest, I'm also from India. I'm an Indian. And I'm still speaking to you from my experience and experience of people around me. Generally, we lack discipline. In India, we lack discipline. Whether in a social life or in our personal life, we lack discipline. And that's why it becomes difficult when these kind of situations we have to face. In Hong Kong, people have good social conduct, code of conduct. They follow. Whatever policies are introduced by the government, people follow that. In India, it's very difficult. In India, people are too independent. So when it happens, when there is so much of independence, unnecessary independence, then to control that kind of lifestyle, the person who has lived very independently, too independently, then to discipline such a person, it becomes very, very difficult. Then it becomes like a mental torture. I'm just giving you a general idea. It's not applicable to everybody. There were so many people, who knew what to do and they followed those things and they benefited from that. But generally, that was the mindset. General mindset of people is like that. Too much freedom, independence, and it becomes very difficult for such people to face these kind of situations. So that's a different topic. But in general, that people around the whole world, they were affected. And that's why WHO had to announce that the next pandemic is going to be mental health, mental challenges. So many people, they lost their jobs, they lost their business and all that. It happened in Hong Kong also, it happened. So people felt so much frustrated. And so many cases of suicide and all that happened around the world. So because of the lack of knowledge, see, one part of Ayurveda is the meditation, correct? Which helps a person to feel quite satisfied living alone without interacting with the other people. Interact with our own self. When we lack that kind of interaction with our own self, we become so dependent on interacting with others. And then, there is a word they use. Like, feeling of left out, something like that. People feel left out, when they don't.
FOMO.
FOMO, yes, FOMO. What's the full form of FOMO? Fear of
Missing out.
missing out.
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Yes. So because people they don't have so much of like self-esteem. Their self-esteem is very low. So such people, when they are not invited for any function or any gathering or any party or anything, they are affected by FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. They feel very depressed. They feel very low. And so many negative thoughts attack them. So this is not a life. This is not the healthy life. Such people, they may look very healthy. They may be very rich also, very well settled in the society. Financially, so they may be doing very well. But emotionally, they are very low. The self-esteem is very low. Then they get affected by these things. So Ayurveda is about that, that when you are alone, you can be satisfied. Just focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, but analyze your personality, analyze your mind, analyze your thought process, what is happening. That's called meditation. Studying yourself, studying your behavior, studying your character, studying your activities, analyzing your activities. So that's the real meditation. And whatever activities which are not appropriate, just stop those activities. Then the energy will develop within your own self, and that energy will help you to enhance your self-esteem. Then you won't be bothered. Those FOMO and all these words will remain only in the dictionary. They will not affect you. Right?
So I think what you're saying is that probably we need to start fasting the senses, basically, rather than just thinking about fasting on food. So fasting on what visually stimulates us or what auditorily stimulates us. We got to go on a diet, on sensory diet.
Yes, absolutely. See, but it starts with the physical fast. See, the sense organs, when they are not provided the energy, then they will remain calm. Correct? So when at the physical level we don't supply food, then the sense organs will remain calm. And also, if we don't eat food, the pitta, the digestive fire, and overall pitta also will become stronger. When the pitta is stronger, it can bring more awareness. It can bring more light. It can illuminate our intelligence. Then we will know what is wrong, right, and what is wrong. We can differentiate between the activities, the bad and good activities. Then according to that, we can make the right choice. So to be able to make the right choice, appropriate choice, intelligence has to work properly. So when keep on eating day and night, 3, 4, 5 meals, sometimes people, they have 5 meals a day. So we don't give enough rest to the digestive system. It is overburdened. Then the digestive fire becomes affected. Then overall pitta becomes affected. Then the person's intelligence becomes affected. Then the person doesn't know that what is right, what is wrong. Just go with the flow. So such people, we don't call them social animals. They are just literally like animals. They just follow their whims, very impulsive in their behavior. So for that reason, what you raised the point about fasting, yes, fasting, the meaning of fasting is not only just staying away from food, but controlling our senses as well. We consume the food, the tangible food, through our mouth. But the other sense objects also we are consuming. We like to see nice scenic places, right? So that is the food of eyes. We like to listen to music, soothing music. So that's the food of ears, the sense of hearing. We like to sit on the soft surfaces. So that is the food for sense of touch. We like to touch soft things. Correct? And the tongue, though we use it as a motor organ, we use for eating food. And as a sense organ, sense of taste, we utilize the tongue for tasting food. And as a motor organ, we use it for talking. Many people, they like to hear their own voice. So they keep on talking. So that also is the food for tongue. motor organ. So this you raise very valid point that the senses also should be curtailed. Senses also should be controlled, not suppressed. Again, try to understand the difference between controlling and suppressing. Ayurveda doesn't encourage, it doesn't advise us to suppress our senses, control the senses. So fasting
I
is,
feel also when you overfeed yourself, whether it's a greed or a need of anything, when we are wanting too much, that creates a problem also.
of course, anything in excess will create problem.
Yes. Whether it's listening to something or eating something or wanting something or sleeping too much or working too much, everything too much can be a problem.
Anything in excess. I mean, good things in excess also are not good.
Yes.
The key word in Ayurveda we use is balance. Find a balance. So balance is the key word, to have good health at all levels, physical level, emotional, mental, intellectual level. Balance is the key word. Right?
Makes sense. There is a hand raised. Vandana, would you like to ask your question, please?
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Hare Krishna, sir, again. Sir, I have two quick questions with respect to the previous slide. One, from Ayurveda standpoint, to know, as in, for a layman, to know the Prakriti and the Vikruti, does the Ayurveda consultant always uses the Nadi Gyan, or are there other forms also to identify both?
Yeah, this was in my mind to discuss later, but since you raised the point, maybe we can just conclude after discussing this point. And there was one other question also. Shakuntala ji, somebody has sent you a question. So I will.
Yeah, that is there in the slide. That is there
Yes,
in the slide. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will address that question also. So before that, what you asked the question, see the most accurate, the best way, precise way to find Prakriti and Vikruti is through the Nadi Pariksha. That's the most authentic, most bona fide way of diagnosing somebody's Prakriti and Vikruti. And if that is not possible, if consultation in person is not possible, like I do online consultations with my clients also, living overseas. So I do sensing of the aura through the Zoom call. I sense the aura when I see them on the screen. And then based on my reading from the aura, then I discuss with them. And that is also almost is like the Nadi Pariksha. So that is another way of doing it. And sometimes people, they do the questionnaire, but questionnaire actually, it is not so conclusive. And I won't actually encourage to go for that. Through the questionnaire, you try to find out what is your Prakriti, what is your Vikruti. It is not accurate. Why I'm saying that? Because I come across clients who are from the yoga community, and in the nowadays, when they do this yoga teachers training course, they have to study a little bit of Ayurvedic anatomy also, and then they get the questionnaire to find out their constitution. So when they come to see me, they have some preconceived idea about their constitution, their Prakriti, and when I check their pulse, it's quite different. So then I explain to them, that what's the difference between what they found out by attempting to the questions and then what I'm saying. Because when they go through the question, the symptoms, they only will focus, what they remember, what they're experiencing now in the recent time. They won't know how was their behavior in the childhood or something like that. But from the Prakriti, from the Nadi, we can find out that what was their behavior in the childhood, what happened before. So that's the most accurate way. Attempting the question is not so accurate. So I don't want to discourage you. Ayurveda has a very practical kind of suggestion, advice in this regard also. If you are not able to consult anyone, any Ayurveda expert or Ayurvedic doctor, for your finding out your constitution, just imagine that you are a Vata person. Just imagine that you are a Vata person, because according to Ayurveda, Vata disorder causes the most problems, most issues compared to Pitta disorder or the Kapha disorder. And when the Vata disorder is there, it remains consistently, it is there. it will cause the pitta disorder also, because as I said, vata is the one which produces pitta, and pitta produces kapha, right? Fire produces water. So the starting point is the air, the vata. So when we try to monitor that and regulate that, then the other pitta disorder also can be corrected, kapha disorder also can be corrected. So just presuming that you have a vata prakriti, then according to that, if you change your diet, monitor your diet and follow that, then it can be quite helpful.
What are the signs of vata?
What are the signs of vata?
Yeah, how to know that you have vata?
Your skin will become very dry. You just see the qualities of air, right? The skin can become dry, the joints can become very stiff, and the energy level can fluctuate a lot. Like the vata, the air, the flow of air is not consistent always, right? Sometimes it is
Right.
very strong, sometimes it's we feel very suffocated.
Mm.
So the symptoms
Yes.
which are caused by vata, they are not consistent. They keep on changing.
Okay.
Yeah. So when hopefully we have more such sessions. So in the subsequent sessions, we can go into more details about the qualities of vata. That question, what somebody sent you question earlier, because that also will take. I will need some time to explain.
Vandana, your question is over, or Vandana?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just a follow up. So much gratitude for giving such a brief, such a wonderful articulation on this, topic. Quick, another follow up question on this is: can an individual hold two prakritis at the same time, like vata and pitta, pit and
Yes.
vat?
Now,
Yes.
Just a yes or no should suffice my response.
yeah. See now, as I said, we are combination of all three. Nobody will have only one prakriti. I mean, prakriti in the sense one dosha. Now, this is very interesting point you mentioned, that when we talk about the prakriti, we take two doshas into account, primary and secondary. So secondary dosha also is very important. Just very quickly, I give you example to make you understand that how important it is. Supposing somebody has pitta as the main dosha, two individuals, both of them, they have pitta as the main dosha. And one person has kapha as a second dosha, secondary dosha, and other person has vata as a secondary dosha. That means one person is pitta kapha, other person is pitta vata. Predominant dosha in both of them is pitta. Correct? Now, when pitta, in Ayurveda, it is said, whichever is the predominant dosha, it is very easy for that predominant dosha to go out of balance because it's already on the higher side. So it can go out of balance very easily. So supposing pitta kapha person, the pitta goes out of disorder, out of sync, it becomes disorder, right? So such a person, normally he is advised to eat food which is pitta pacifying. Now, pitta pacifying food, according to Ayurveda, which is more moist, heavier in nature, liquidy, watery, sweet. But now, pitta kapha person, the second dosha is kapha. And when that person consumes sweets or more earth element food, more sticky food, which has more, which is more slimy with pulp, so that will increase the kapha. So that can cause kapha imbalance. So pitta kapha people, if they have pitta disorder, pitta goes out of balance, then they should eat food which can take care of the kapha dosha as well. It should not increase kapha in an excessive way. It should not cause kapha dosha disorder. That means such people should not consume so many sweets. But on the other hand, pitta vata people, when the pitta goes out of balance, pitta is agitated. So pitta vata people should consume more sweets. Because vata is dry in nature. So such a person takes more sweets. Kapha increases, it will benefit. It will help the vata also in that person's system. So second dosha also is very important. I'm just touching very briefly to give you some idea. Sometimes, people focus only on the predominant dosha, pitta, vata, kapha, like that. And they in the books also, many books, if you see, they give the diet according to the predominant dosha. Then they don't focus on the secondary dosha, which is very, very important. Otherwise, it can cause the disorder at the second level if only one focuses on the primary dosha. So these are technical points. Again, I don't want to make you feel overwhelmed, but these just since you raised a question, so I just touched the point very briefly.
Thank you very much.
Sir, the example you just mentioned, it's actually I have Pitta and Kapha dosha. So that is exactly how it works for me.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, sir, I have a question. Um, Sir, you said that I wanted to know if like we are entering into the winter season here in North India. So I just wanted to ask like if there are like a few Ayurvedic guidelines that you can mention, like you talked about how there are some people who get sick. I am one of those people. I just recovered. Like people have sinus and all of that. I think all of the weather's changing and all of us are getting sick. If you can mention like 2, 3 top things that can help us at this point of time.
Yeah, see, in winter season, generally, according to Ayurveda, winter season is the nurturing season. This is a season when our appetite is the strongest compared to the other seasons in the year. So we should take advantage of that season, to eat more. But unfortunately, because we don't follow the regime according to the seasons, before winter season, we have autumn. So autumn season is for detoxification. So if we don't detoxify our body, then in winter season, our body gets affected when we eat more or something like that. So the coming back to your question, what you asked, general guidelines which are given in Ayurveda during winter season is regular oil massage and always drinking warm water, not room temperature also. Have a habit of drinking warm water and don't consume too many cooling things during winter season, and should not stay awake late at night during winter season. You can get up early in the morning by going to bed early at night. Don't stay awake late at night. Many people, they stay awake, after midnight also and all that. In winter season, completely it is unhealthy habit. And don't leave your stomach empty. Whenever you feel a little bit of hunger, which indicates generally in winter our appetite increases because body produces more fire so that we can combat the cooling effect of the air in winter season. So because of the strong fire within our body, the appetite increases. So we have to address that. We need to listen to that. We should not leave our stomach empty. Otherwise, that same fire, what I said earlier, it will start burning. If the food is not supplied to the fire to work on, that same fire will start burning the healthy tissues in the body, and that will have a very weakening effect. Now, to prevent or to correct any sinus related problem, simple solution is you boil water. In that you add some balm which contains camphor, like Vicks balm is easily available in India. So you can put 1 teaspoon of balm in about 2 liters of hot water, boiling water. Then you take the steam through your nose, 1 or 2 minutes, couple of minutes. You have to be mindful when you're taking any steam from the pot, hot boiling water. You should cover your eyes. Your eyes should not be affected by the hot steam. It can be harmful for the eyes. So just you wear an eye mask and then you take the steam through your nose for a couple of minutes. If you do regularly, your sinus will be cleared. And this also is very important. After taking the steam, you should use the knuckles to massage the sinus part. So whatever phlegm, catarrh is accumulated there, it will come out. Then you won't get any headache or anything, right? Also, those kind of symptoms which are caused due to the accumulation of water, unnecessary water element in the sinus part. Right? Is it okay for now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I was writing it down.
Okay.
So, shall I show you the last question or?
Yes, please.
I have a question as well, Vaidehi.
Yeah.
We do this neti, right, in yoga?
Yeah.
I mean, as a practice, say once in 15 days or so. So how
Yeah.
does it feature in here to avoid this winter, whatever the problems we were talking about now?
Yes. See, in that also, the Niti Kriya, one of the Shat Karmas,
Mhm.
saline water is used. And after you do that, it is very important to do the Sutra Niti as well. After Jala Niti, you should do the Sutra Niti as well.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
So that, whatever the water element, the water droplets remain inside the nasal passage, they can be cleared.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they remain there, then they can cause a little bit of heaviness in the head, forehead or something.
So what I was taught, like I do is do,
You can do, yes,
Kapal Bhati kind of a thing.
yes,
And
the
then do
strong,
Shashankasan, so that you put down your head like that and then it comes out. And you
yes.
just
So there is a specific way of doing the
doing
breathing,
that.
that Kapalabhati. The procedure is you need to bend your trunk, bend from lower back forward at the 90 degrees level, and then you keep your head upwards. Then you vigorously breathe out in the front, then sideways, upwards and downwards like that. Then the whatever water element is remain in the nasal passage, it will come out. Yeah. So either you have to clear it through the strong breathing exercise or through Sutra Niti. The point is that should not just stop after doing Jala Niti. Otherwise, that can become also the cause of heavy-headedness.
Okay. Thank you so much. That helps.
Yeah. Yeah, Shakuntala ji, what's the question now?
Yeah. Yes. So we'll share the website detail and other details in both the groups, so other people, if they want, they can. And this was the question. Nidhi, will you read?
The question goes, I would like to know about Vidya Balan's weight loss by eliminating inflammatory foods from diet. I'm wondering how can Lauki, which is an alkaline food, inflame Balan and make her gain weight? I understand each body is different. However, what is the key to eliminating foods that are inflammatory and how do we identify these foods for our particular body?
This also is a kind of a very common issue, health issue many people are facing around the world, inflammation. Right?
Right.
Now, in Ayurveda, we try to find out what is the cause of the symptoms. Two different individuals, they may have the same symptoms, but the causes may be different. So we don't treat only the symptoms, we focus on treating the cause of the problem. Correct? Now, I give you an example. Inflammation can be caused by all the three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. The example of inflammation which is caused by Vata, the air, is like a balloon. When we blow air in the balloon gets inflamed, right? Increases in size. So that kind of inflammation, we call it, is caused by Vata disorder. The inflammation which is caused by Pitta disorder, the example is given of boiling milk. When a pot of milk we put on fire, when it comes to the boiling point, the milk level rises, right? It goes up. Correct? So that is kind of inflammation. So which is caused by Pitta. And the inflammation which is caused by Kapha disorder is mainly swelling. Like in a river, we see when there is so much of dirt accumulated or clay accumulated, then we get bubbles. The water cannot flow properly. Correct? So that kind of swelling is caused by the kapha disorder. When there is so much of unwanted mucus accumulated in the body. So we need to find out what is the cause of the problem. Now, Lauki, though it is alkaline, but the effect of alkaline food is cooling, right? So when there is too much of cooling, and if the person's prakriti is already kapha, and that person consumes cooling things, so that will, in long run, will cause inflammation. Though alkaline food is very harmless, correct? But it can become harmful for people who have kapha dosha already accumulated in the body, because it will have more dampening effect on the digestive fire. then the food cannot be properly digested. When the food is not properly digested, it will get converted into the toxic mucus. And kapha people, they're prone to having excessive mucus in the body. So for such people, having alkaline food excessively, thinking that it can be beneficial, generally it is beneficial for others, but for kapha people, it is not. So for such people, if they want to take advantage of having alkaline food, Ayurveda says, they must add something which can take care of the pitta in the body, so that that alkaline food, which is cooling by nature, it doesn't become a burden on their digestive system. So simple solution is, in the alkaline, supposing the person is taking Loki juice, which is like a bottle gourd, is called in English, right? So, or green squash. So when that kind of juice one needs to take, then some ginger juice or black pepper powder or cinnamon powder should be added. Then it can balance it out. It can reduce the extra cooling effect of the alkaline food. Then the person can take advantage of the alkaline effect of the cooling food and will not be affected by the cooling effect of the alkaline food. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Very interesting also.
Yes, Ayurveda is very interesting.
See, all the three dosha, they can lead to inflammation.
Yes.
That is really interesting. Otherwise, we think only kapha people.
So similarly, see, just very briefly, share with you, cold and cough. Generally, people, they have this kind of understanding. If somebody has any cold, cough, running nose, they start taking the food items which are hot in nature, like ginger tea, those kind of things they start taking.
Yes.
But if the cold is caused due to excess heat in the body, then ginger tea will aggravate the problem. It will increase the problem. It will not help to correct the problem. So cold can be caused due to excess heat in the body, as well as too much cooling effect in the body. So I have to find out what is the cause of the cold, the mucus. Now the simple way, one of the sessions, I think quite some time ago, I had mentioned how to find out whether one has the cold, cough is due to excess heat in the body or due to there is so much cooling effect in the body, within the body. If in the starting point of the cold, cough, during running nose time, if there is too much of kata coming out from the left nostril, that means the body has too much cooling effect. Body is too cold inside. If
Sir, sorry, what, too much of what?
too much cooling effect within the body.
No, what is coming out of the left nostril?
The water, the running nose.
Okay,
If
okay.
it is kata, we call it kata. So when it is coming out, the water is coming out from the left nostril. That means the cold is caused due to the too much cooling effect within the body. And if that water is coming out from the right nostril, then the cold is caused due to excess heat in the body. See, these are very simple guidelines which are given. Laymen also can understand, now what kind of treatment should be given. So if the water is coming out from the left nostril, the ginger tea can work very well, because it is too much cooling effect in the body, and that is causing the cold and cough. And if it is on the opposite side, then instead of taking ginger tea, person can take cumin tea, boil cumin seeds in the water, and take that, which has cleansing effect on the system also, detoxifying effect on the system also, and it has cooling effect. So the mucus also will be released from the body, and the body will have calming effect. So when we read about these things, when we discuss about, when we hear about these things, we understand how simple guidelines are given in Ayurveda. We can take care of our own health. We don't have to, for very small things, small element, just run to the clinic to go and see a medical professional. It's not necessary.
Sir, can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned about cold and, heat, the left and right nostrils. So left is our Chandra Nadi, cooling Nadi, and the right is our Surya Nadi, which is for the heat, right? So that's how it relates to that hot and cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, do you have time for another question?
Okay.
It's 11:30.
Sorry, I know. I just want to be greedy because it's also going to be dinner time, and we have a tendency of a lot of stale food because of big refrigerators and all of that. So, how does what is stale by the definition of Ayurveda, and what does it do to our body? If that's not too much of a long answer, then if you think you can factor it in, because we do tend to eat a lot of stale packaged food. तो मैं तो
Yeah.
stale उसकी बात कर रही हूँ जो हम अपने फ्रिज में भर के रखते हैं.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
It's a good question.
The question is very good, but I'm sure that the answer when you hear, you will not feel so good.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
should
don't
not
want to
eat.
feel good.
One should not eat stale food. That's what I
I don't
heard.
want to feel good. I really don't want to feel good.
So you're
I'm already not feeling good about it, actually.
no, I'm saying that means you're well prepared.
I am.
Okay. See, strictly speaking, in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says food can be divided in three categories. The food is mode of goodness, sattvic, mode of passion, rajasic, and mode of ignorance, tamasic. So even though when we cook food, when the food is prepared, it may be sattvic food, very clean, very organic and all that. And strictly speaking, from the Bhagavad Gita perspective and from Ayurvedic perspective, when any food item which is kept more than 3 hours, it becomes stale.
Very difficult.
The sattvic food also can become tamasic. So most of us are eating tamasic food. Though we think that we are vegetarians, we are sattvic and all that, but we are consuming tamasic food.
And then we expect ourselves to remain calm, peaceful.
Yes.
We want to do meditations, but we are eating one-day-old
Healthy.
food.
Yes. Now see, again, I don't want to discourage you. I don't want to conclude our discussion at such a negative point. The solution, again, as I said, Ayurveda is very practical science. Now we have to, in our modern life, we have to have a refrigerator. I tell you, in my personal life, even in my college days, we did not have refrigerator at home. My mother bought the fridge after I came to Hong Kong when I was about 30 years old. That means I never saw a refrigerator at home till the age of 30. It was like a luxury item. And my mother used to say, that cook food, the quantity of the food, in such a way that you finish it when it is cooked. No need to keep leftovers. There was no need. Right? So it is very good for health. But nowadays, because people are working, I come across clients, they cook at night and they have to store it in the fridge. Next day, they have to go to office early in the morning. They don't have enough time to cook food at that time. So in that kind of situation, practical solution is given in Ayurveda. Not to increase the shelf life of the food, you add some spices to that. Spices which are pitta oriented, fire oriented, which are hot in nature, which can increase the shelf life of the food. Basically, black pepper powder, little bit of ginger, cinnamon powder, cumin seeds also, though they are cooling, but they have very strong pitta dosha in that. So when these spices are added, then next day you can use the food. And this also is said in Ayurveda, if the stale food, suppose sometimes you have to keep it. Now, when you take out from the fridge, take out as much quantity what you can finish at that time. It's not that, the whole container you take out the food item and then you heat up a little bit, then you eat and balance again you put in the fridge. Reheating of the food, it will completely destroy the prana of the food. Then the food will not give you energy. If the food does not have any prana, any energy left, how can it provide energy to you when you consume it? So the prana is very important. The food itself has to have the energy to provide the energy when you consume it. Yes?
Yeah.
Does
Makes
it
sense,
answer your
but it
question?
would still be tamasic, right?
Sorry?
It would still be tamasic. It may be edible, but would it be rajasic, tamasic, or sattvic
No,
still after the fix?
no. The tamasic effect can be reduced.
can be reduced. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because the prana,
Probably,
you're conserving the prana in the food, no?
one question I just want to ask that nowadays many people they keep storing all the storage in the refrigerator only. So what is this for? How it works? It is good or not? Because nowadays we have the insects coming in the food, so we just keep in the frozen section.
Yeah, so of course, it's not ideal, but as I said, we have to live a practical life. So practically, whatever is possible, we need to adjust. We cannot completely, throw away the refrigerator from the house. It is useless and all that. We cannot do that in today's modern time. So we have to just make the best use of the bad bargain. Yeah.
Sir, last one quick question from Vinita ji. She's asking, how much is optimal screen time as per your Ayurvedic knowledge?
Optimal what? Sorry, come again.
Screen time. Screen time. So much of too much of use of mobile and all.
Screening time, you said?
Screening. Yeah. Screen.
Optimal screening time.
Yeah.
Today we have already exceeded the screening time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a joke. See, that also depends on individual to individual. People who have strong pitta, they can tolerate longer screening time.
Oh,
Because pitta is the vision, no? It affects the vision, right? So their optic nerve will not be so much badly affected by these mobile phone screen and all that. Vata people are the most sensitive people, so they have to be very careful. They should not be in front of the screen for a very long time continuously. They have to take break in between. Otherwise, the eyesight can become affected. Not only the eyesight can be affected, the functioning of the brain also can become affected. So that depends on the individual's personal constitution. We cannot, again, as I said, we cannot have the same kind of yardstick for everyone.
So we need to take a break now.
Sorry?
We need to take a break now.
Yeah, for 1 month. So yeah, so I should thank everybody for.
I just have one question, if you don't mind, please.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
mind.
Actually, you spoke about this Nadi thing.
Mhm.
Since you are out of the country, how do we consult you? I'm sorry. You do look. Feel the Nadi. Then you.
As I
It's
said,
more clear.
I do a Zoom consultation, online consultation.
Okay.
I sense the aura of the person, and then based on that, I do. And another solution also, this also has worked quite well so far. I've done for a few clients. I tell them to tie the strings like this,
Okay.
and tie the string and leave it on both wrists for 48 minutes, at least 48 minutes, minimum 48 minutes. And after that, they can put in different envelope, putting which is the right string and which is the left one. And then by touching those strings, when I receive, by touching those strings, I can tell them what constitution they have and what kind of vikruti they have.
Okay. Right. And can one learn this Nadi learning? Feel the Nadi and where does
Anybody
one?
can, anybody can learn. But the learning process also, one is that in a theory part, learning about it theoretically. The other is practically being able to diagnose based on that. So for that, so much of time, so much of meditation is required.
Okay.
So much of cleansing within is required. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
I took
welcome.
off some more time.
Too much, Vinodji. Otherwise, people will keep
True.
saying, and I know it is 11:30, so we will be having more some sessions. So I think audience should stop questions now.
Yeah.
But it
Thank
was
you
a
so much.
very interesting session. I
And
hope you
very informative.
found the information useful for you, beneficial for you.
Yes, absolutely. My God, mind-boggling. It was rather.
Thank you, sir. Very, very useful.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Varsha ji.
Enlightening, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Hare
everybody.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vinod, Sharma ji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you
Varsha ji.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Sorry to disturb
When
your
is the
sleep,
next,
Varsha ji. You have to get
when
up
is
so
the
early in
next
the
No,
morning.
not
class?
at all. It's a pleasure. I mean, I usually wake up early in the morning.
Yes, yes. I know that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
I'm here to babysit my grandchild. So I usually wake up at this time.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so one last question, sir.
Yeah.
Hello?
When is the next
Sir,
class?
no, the people who are not able to get up in the morning, what kind of a prakriti they have?
Generally, it is a kapha prakriti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Good night. Shubharatri.
Shubharatri. Shubharatri.
Thank you, Vinod ji. And Varsha ji, we'll close now.
We'll wind it up. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It was really, really wonderful session. Very informative. And I think we should have more. We should have more such sessions more often.
I will be happy.
Sharma ji, if you would have time, I would suggest to do at least once a month. At least
Yeah,
once.
I would be happy to do that. Not a problem.
That'll be great.
That'll be brilliant. That'll be brilliant. Thank you, Varsha ma'am, for bringing this up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.